Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, bibliophiles and word enthusiasts, I extend to you the warmest of welcomes to our enchanting Raleigh Literary Festival. Today, we gather here to celebrate the magic of speaking, the power of writing, and the joy of reading. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you as we embark on this incredible journey through the realms of imagination and creativity. First and foremost, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who has graced this festival with your presence. Whether you are an author, a poet, a reader, or a literary enthusiast, you are the beating heart that makes this event come alive. Your passion for literature fills the air with excitement and promises a captivating experience for all. As we embark on this literary adventure, let us remember that literature has the power to transcend boundaries, bridge cultures, and bring people together in ways nothing else can. It takes us on extraordinary journeys, introduces us to unforgettable characters, and imparts invaluable life lessons. Whether we find solace in the pages of a beloved novel, immerse ourselves in the cadence of a well-crafted poem, or explore new ideas through nonfiction, literature nourishes our souls and expands our horizons. Throughout this festival, we will have the opportunity to engage with renowned authors, attend thought-provoking panel discussions. But remember, a literary festival is not just about the authors of the books. It is about all of us, the readers, dreamers, and the seekers of knowledge. So I encourage you to connect with fellow bookworms, share your favorite literary treasures, and revel in the sense of community that is created when we come together to celebrate the written word. Once again, I extend my sincerest gratitude to each one of you for being here today, for being a part of this literary journey. Let us embark on this exciting journey together, ready to immerse ourselves in the wonders of literature and create memories that will last a lifetime. Behold, my dear friends, the legendary Raleigh Literary Society. This society is an ancient titan, time-honored body that has withstood the test of time, not only with the hallowed halls of Aligarh Muslim University, but throughout the entire nation. But let us turn our gaze to the present, where the Raleigh Literary Society continues to reign as a pulsating powerhouse of passion and fervor. They are a whirlwind of activity, ceaselessly breathing life into the campus with their dynamic and vibrant presence. They nurture the seeds of literary and creative artistry. They polish the gems of oratory powers, and they unveil the mesmerizing performance flair of those who dare to take the stage. The result? A tapestry of brilliance woven by the hands of these extraordinary individuals. Prepare to witness the majestic evolution of the Raleigh Literary Society with a legacy that stretches back through the annals of time at Aligarh Muslim University. The society has always had one noble mission at its core, to ignite a blazing passion for literature and all things literary. And oh, now they have pursued this vision with an unwavering determination. In the quest to uphold this noble cause, the society has orchestrated a dazzling array of events, each one meticulously designed to captivate the academic minds and literary souls of individuals. A week-long extravaganza known as the RLS Week, captivating spectacle that swept through the university in 2022. Its purpose? To enthrall and engage people from all corners of the institution, transcending disciplines and fostering a deep love for the written word. But my friends, as the world hurtles forward, so too must the Raleigh Literary Society spread its wings and soar to new horizons. You see, literature, dear friends, is not a mere solitary island, but a vast tree with branches and roots intertwined across countless disciplines. It thrives on collaboration, transcending boundaries and blending seamlessly with various streams of knowledge. And so, the Raleigh Literary Festival follows suit. For it too refuses to exist in isolation. Instead, it strives to weave together a tapestry of diverse souls from different walks of life, academics, literature, enthusiasts, and cultures alike. So, mark your calendars, my friends, and prepare yourselves for an unforgettable journey with the Raleigh Literary Festival, an extraordinary fusion of intellect, literature, and culture that will leave an indelible mark on your hearts and minds. Welcome one and all to this extraordinary literary extravaganza. Today, we'll begin with the conference to the grandest spectacle that is the National Interdisciplinary Online Students Conference on Trauma, Memory, and Post-Memory. Prepare yourself for a mind-bending journey through the twists and turns of a collective consciousness. Buckle up, fellow explorers of the mind. Today, we'll embark on an adventure where the past dances with the present, where memories intertwine and transform, and where the echoes of trauma ripple through time. An orchestra of ideas where psychology, literature, sociology, history, politics, and a myriad of other disciplines come together in perfect harmony. We are about to witness the most breathtaking performance of intellectual collaboration ever seen. Not one, not two, but a whooping 30 universities from all corners of India are gearing up to join us for this mind-blowing conference. Can you believe it? We are taking a giant leap forward, leaving our humble beginnings in the dust. So get ready to witness an explosion of talent, intellect, and sheer brilliance. With this staggering number of universities on board, our conference is set to be a roller coaster ride of mind-bending ideas, intense debates, and unforgettable moments of intellectual synergy. It's like assembling the Avengers of academia, folks. Except instead of superpowers, we are armed with pens, papers, and boundless creativity. Our stage is set, and our players are none other than the brilliant students from the university across the nation. Each one of you holds a unique instrument, your expertise, your passion, and your burning desire to unravel the mysteries of trauma, memory, and post-memory. But this is no ordinary conference. This is an online extravaganza that transcends physical boundaries. We have transformed our screens into portals of knowledge, connecting us all in a virtual realm where ideas flow freely. So let's come together as a symphony of knowledge, as a chorus of curiosity, and as a dance of intellect. We'll explore the depths of trauma, memory, post-memory, and emerge with a profound understanding of a shared human experience. Now, it is my distinct honor to invite to the stage a person who needs no introduction, a literary luminary whose words have touched the lives of countless readers, a beacon of wisdom and inspiration in the world of literature. It's time to welcome a true wordsmith, a literary wizard, with a pen as mighty as a sword and a mind as imaginative as a universe. Our chairperson has timelessly nurtured the flame of literature within our society. He's the maestro who will conduct the symphony of knowledge, taking us on a journey through the labyrinth of letters in the realm of literary exploration. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a thunderous round of applause to welcome our esteemed chairperson, Department of English, and President of Raleigh Literary Society, Professor Mohammad Asim Siddiqui. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, Adeeba, for a very generous introduction. I must say that it was very, very generous of you to introduce me in such lofty words. Thank you very much. I must welcome members of Raleigh Literary Society and all participants who have joined from 30 different universities. 30 different universities, it is no mean number. I must say that it's a great, great moment for the Department of English. That the Department of English is organizing a big literary festival. Of course, the lead has been taken by Raleigh Literary Society, but all members of the department, all the students of the department have taken part. And I must also congratulate Raleigh Literary Society for including all students in this very important project. And there, I must say that you deserve really a very highest possible. Talk about this particular occasion, let me just give you some history also. But before I talk about some history of this particular concept or this particular society, I must say that all of us must try to make this 3-day event a great success. For some reason, we could not do many things offline, and that's why we are doing it online. And one important point, and in fact, I wanted to speak about this point later, but I think this important point can come in now. And the important point is that whenever there is an important online event, the success of that online event is achieved. Similarly, that online event can become a lot more attractive if all participants who are attending that, they have their videos on. That way, we are interacting with others. That way, we are also able to see each other. We are able to see uh, the responses also. You see, when any speaker talks, there are witty points that he makes. There are also serious points that he makes. So that way, this entire festival, and I must tell you that under the leadership of Abdullah Parvez, students have worked very hard. So I must say that if you want to make this particular program spectacular, really spectacular, very lifelike, then at least 10 of you must have your videos on. And in fact, if all of you can have your videos on, nothing like it. So this is my first point, because this is a very important program. The second point, already Adeeba talked about it, Raleigh Literary Society. It is one of the oldest literary societies in the country, one of the oldest, and one of the oldest also, which is known for its activities year after year. So that way, a tradition is not established in a day. A great tradition is not established in a day. There is the title of F.R. Lewis's famous book, The Great Tradition. And T.S. Eliot also talked about tradition and the individual talent. So that way, if I am speaking to you today, if Abdullah is doing something, then we are also part of a tradition which saw some luminaries also in earlier years. I must mention just a few. Professor Zahida Zaidi is a very well-known Urdu novelist, poet, dramatist. She is also a very well-known Urdu poet. Now, she was once in charge of Raleigh Literary Society, and who she mentored of all persons, Nasiruddin Shah. So Nasiruddin Shah was also part of this society. And if you read his memoir, and then one day, you'll see that Nasiruddin Shah has devoted a whole chapter to his days at Aligarh and how he developed his love of literature, how he developed his love of continental drama, which he says that he would not have developed. So that means one very important role that a society like Raleigh Literary Society performs is inculcating and developing love of literature. Everything cannot be taught in a classroom, but a certain ambience can be created in a university. And, and the difference between a big university, the difference between a premier university and an ordinary college, which does not have as many resources, is the difference of ambience. When you are in a university, you are not reading all the time, but you are learning things. You are not looking at books all the time, but you are learning from each other. So that means that ambience is there, and Raleigh Literary Society has created that ambience. And I must say that in the last 1 year, this ambience is everywhere. One can feel this. One can feel this love of literature. And now this word literature, this brings me to something else also. You know that there was a time when literature was not considered worthy of scholarly attention. People read literature. People read literature for entertainment, but literature was not a subject in universities and colleges. And you will be surprised to know that it was in the 20th century that Oxford University started a chair of professor of English. And who was the first professor? Sir Walter Raleigh. Again, and the society is named after Sir Walter Raleigh. But here it reveals something about the vision of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, that when he established Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College in 1877, a few years after that, Sir Walter Raleigh was hired. He was not Sir at that time. Walter Raleigh was hired, and he was made a professor here in Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. He would become a professor later. That means Oxford will see his talent later. His talent was seen by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan even before that. And I must also add another important point. You know that even when Oxford University made Walter Raleigh the first professor, he was made professor not on the basis of what he had published, but on this assumption that he would publish. That means he was appointed professor on the basis of his promise, not on the basis of his performance. So that means that promise was detected, seen by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan and his son Syed Mahmud many years earlier. And of course, Walter Raleigh is known for his pioneering work on Shakespeare. He is one of the prominent English critics who wrote criticism on Shakespeare. He also wrote a book on Milton. And of course, later, you know that he also participated in war. And in many of his letters, actually, he also remembers very fondly his years at Aligarh Muslim University. And after that, you know that it was not only Walter Raleigh, but you had many other important British professors who were head of the department of, that means since 1947, you had all English professors who were heading the department. So that means that tradition was established. And Raleigh was studying Milton, he was studying Shakespeare. And there was, of course, this time when English department was known for its Shakespeare scholarship. English department was known for work on canonic British literature. But you know that all things change. A particular subject does not remain the same. Literary fields do not remain stable. Changes take place. There was a time in India when Persian was a very important language. Persian was the most important literary language. But you see that Persian is no longer an important language. And we do not know whether English would remain an important language 100 years later. So the idea is that subjects change. The boundaries of subjects change. Subjects are not stable fields. Changes are brought about. And so when I see the 100 years long history of the department, changes have taken place. Apart from English, ELT came up. Apart from English literature, American literature came up. And now if you see, for example, different courses which are offered by the department, we have a kind of cafeteria model where we are studying different things. And it is probably in this context that the topic of this conference becomes very important. Memory, trauma. And you know that we have talked about memory earlier also. Literature has talked about memory. Literature has talked about trauma. The whole idea of partition literature actually is a very good example of that trauma. And if you see stories of Saadat Hasan Manto, for example, you'll see that Manto talks about that trauma. Manto talks about partition not simply as an important event, but he also tries to capture the eventfulness of partition. And that is the work of literature. Literature simply does not capture the event. Literature also captures the eventfulness of that event, which Manto has done. And similarly, when we think about Gabriel Garcia Marquez, I could see one particular paper on Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So how memory is a very important work in his field. And you know that T.S. Eliot in his poem has also talked about mixing memory and desire. Memory has always been a very important element in literature. And you also think about Wordsworth's very famous definition, emotions recollected in tranquility. There also you have the role of memory. And when in one very famous novel of Gabriel Garcia Marquez, you see that one tragedy actually which strikes people is that they lose their memory. They lose their memory. So what they do, they start writing the description of all objects. They don't know what it was. And so to just not forget the function of things, they start writing. So memory has a very central role in modern literature. And similarly, that now there is greater awareness about issues of mental health, and there is greater awareness about what you call trauma. And trauma can be interpreted at different levels, and literature has always addressed this question of trauma. So I was deeply impressed by the topic of this conference, and I must say that the topic was very well thought out. All of you really deserve praise for choosing a very contemporary topic, very relevant topic, very current topic, and a topic which is not ordinarily covered in our syllabi. And here I could see number of papers which are addressing this issue. A few more things about this. That when we are studying literature today, we are not studying literature with capital L. The definition of literature is not of literature with capital L, but we are studying literatures. And that way, it is not only the concept of literature which has broadened, it is also the Department of English at Aligarh Muslim University which has diversified, which has also taken note of all these changes which have attended the definition of literature. And I want to inform many other participants who may not be aware of what we are discussing in our classrooms. We are not simply talking about Shakespeare, we are also talking about health humanities. We are also talking about environmental humanities. We are also talking about digital humanities. We are also talking about climate change. We are also teaching a course on creative writing. And here the important thing is that take note of the new, but don't lose track of the tradition. So that way Milton, Wordsworth, and for that matter Shakespeare, they are also still our very important concerns. Coming back to this particular conference, I'm very sure that all participants in this will enjoy themselves. They will learn from each other. They will learn from the papers. They will attend to these papers. And one important feature of any successful event is discussion, panel discussions. And I must say that I cannot praise those topics enough. And Abdullah has brought in some very important personalities also. Yesterday we were discussing the name of Dara Farooqi, and of course there are others also. So, and of course there is Dhruv Harsh also. He has also made films. So that way you are also living this new definition of literature, where we are not simply talking about a literary text. We are also talking about film scripts. We are also talking about different kinds of writings. And this is true. In fact, if you enter the world, nobody will ask you to write something about Shakespeare. They expect you to write different things. So, and in fact, I am reminded of something very interesting, and this might interest the organizers of this conference. Yesterday, I was reading a long story on Shah Rukh Khan, which was done by Iram Agha for Karwan. Karwan is a very important magazine, and it is known for its, there is a word for it, it is known for its literary journalism. That means there is also a kind of journalism which is literary journalism, which is not simply dry, which is not simply dull, but literary journalism, where you have a very strong element of narrative. There, one professor of Delhi University recalled that when Shah Rukh Khan was a student there, he was always busy organizing events. He was always busy organizing conferences. That means some learning takes place not only in the classroom, but outside the classroom also. And this way, students also learn these organizational skills. And what actually is involved in a conference? It is nothing like, it is probably as stressful as organizing any important function at your home. Because conference means you are thinking about topics, you are thinking about panelists, you're also thinking about getting very good coverage of the event. That means report writing also. So whether that particular event is covered properly or not. So here I have my best wishes for the organizers of this conference, for all those participants who have come from different places, who have joined this. And I must extend all possible hospitality. Unfortunately, this hospitality is only through words, but don't think it is lip service. It is not lip service. We genuinely extend our warm feelings to all participants who have joined this event. Aligarh is known for its hospitality. And whenever you come to Aligarh, Abdullah, I am speaking for you also, we will be ready to welcome you. So once you are part of this event, and you know that any event which is attended by, say, for example, 100 persons, maybe in a conference room, but the real life of that event is its afterlife. That means how it is reported, how it is talked about. So whether that event is online or that event is offline, once the pictures go in the media, once a very good report of that event comes out, that event creates an impact. And so let us not think that organizing this event online is a handicap. Rather, it can be an opportunity also. And and this event will acquire a very interesting afterlife. And that afterlife will come through your participation. That afterlife will come through those beautiful pictures. And of course, it will come through all those reports which will appear in newspapers. Because how many people can attend an actual event? So this afterlife is important. So with these words and with my best wishes, I declare this conference open, and now Adeeba can take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We are grateful for the wisdom you shared and the inspiration you instilled within us. Your speech will linger in our hearts and minds, shaping our own literary journeys and fueling our desires for knowledge. With all of that inspiration,